Hello everyone, and welcome to the lecture on the filter function. In this lecture we'll go over the filter function and see how we can use it. The filter function checks if a given element in a sequence fulfills a function, and if it does, it will add it to a new list. What do I mean by that? Let's say we have a list, let's say list 1, and it's equal to, let's say, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's say it has these elements. And if we have a function that will return elements if they are greater than, let's say, 5. So what this filter function does is that it will apply the function that will return elements if they are greater than 5. It will apply that function to the given list, and then whichever element fulfills the function will be added to a new list, and we'll get that list as a result. So in this case, the result will be a list containing the elements 6, 7, and 8, right? Since those are the 3 elements that are greater than 5. So that's what the filter function does. In a way, it filters our original sequence and we get a new list of elements. Another example, if our function, let's say our function returns elements if they are, let's say, greater than 8. So it will apply that function to our list. In this case, we don't have any elements which are greater than 8. So we get an empty list as a result. So that's the filter function. Let's look at some examples. Let's say we have a list containing the elements, let's say list 2 contains the elements A, B, C, and let's add a couple of numbers, 2 and 7. What we'll do is we'll have a function that will check if the elements in our list is a number, and we'll apply a filter function. So if the elements are numbers, we'll get a new list containing those numbers. So we can say filter, and then we'll apply a strings isNum function, then apply it to our list 2. So in this case, the result will be a list containing the elements 2 and 7. It says type object string has no attribute isNum. Okay, let's check. Let's go for isAlphabet. So isAlphabet. In this case, our filter function will return a list containing the elements A, B, and C, since those are alphabets. So if we run this, we get A, B, and C, right? Since those are the elements that are alphabets. So here we define the list and saved it in a variable, and then we just pass the variable here. We could have also passed the entire list, so it's the same thing, right? We could have said str that is alpha, and then pass the list, so it gives you the same result. We get ABC. So this is in Python 2. If you are using Python 3, don't forget to cast it into a list, similar to the map function. So in Python 3, it would be filter list, cast the filter function into a list. So filter, and then str that is alpha, and then your sequence of elements. So list to or this list. So that would be the equivalence in Python 3. Since it returns an iterable, we have to cast the filter function to a list. Okay, don't forget that. This is in Python 3. Great. Let's look at some more examples. Let's define a function that will return if a number is an odd number. So let's say define, and let's call our function odd. Then it will take an attribute x, and then it will return. So we can use the modulus function, x modulus 2. If it's equal to 1, that means it's an odd number, right? That's a simple check. So x modulus 2 equal to 1. So if we say odd and then pass, let's say 7, that's true. If we say odd, let's pass 4, that's false. We know our function works as we intend. What we'll do next is use the filter function to apply the function that we define here, the odd function, and then pass a list of numbers. Let's say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So our filter function will return a list containing the odd numbers here. So that will be 3, 5, 7, and 9. So if you run this, we get 3, 5, 7, and 9. What if there was no odd number? Let's make this a list containing 2, 4, 6, 8, and 12. In this case, our result will be an empty list, right? Since none of the numbers are odd. Again, if you are using Python 3, don't forget to cast it into a list. That would be the equivalence in Python 3. Next, let's see how we can use the filter function with the Lambda function. So what we'll do is we'll have a list, and then we'll have a function that will check if the length of the elements in that list is greater than 1. And if it is, we'll get a new list. So let's do that. We have a filter function, and then let's apply the lambda function. So we can say lambda x, and then it will return length of x if the length of x is greater than 1, for instance. Then let's pass our list. Let's say our list has the elements ABC, AB, A, and B maybe. And let's add one more element, A, B, C, D. Okay. So filter lambda x, return if length of x is greater than 1. And then apply this lambda function to our list here. So it will check if the length of each element is greater than 1. So the length of this here is 4, right? So it will return this element to also return the next two elements, since the length is greater than 1. So the result will be a list containing this highlighted elements. Let's run it. So we get a list containing these elements, since their length is greater than 1. Let's look at a few more examples. For these examples, I'll create a few dictionaries. Let's start by creating the dictionaries. Let's say our dictionary 1 contains one key and element combination. So our key is A and our value is 1. Let's create 2 more dictionaries. Dictionary 2. Let's say our key is B. For our value, let's say 7. Let's have 1 more dictionary. Dictionary 3. And then let's say for our first key and value combination, let's use A5. And then for our second key and value combination, let's say B and 3. So we have 3 dictionaries. What we'll do is we'll use the lambda function, and then we'll check if the keys in our dictionaries start with, for instance, A. So if the keys contain the element A, it will return that dictionary. Okay, let's do that. So we can say filter, and then we'll use the lambda function. So lambda, let's say lambda our dictionary, lambda x, let's say A in our x dot keys, right? So lambda x, and then return if the element A is in x dot keys. So if it means if A is a key in the dictionary, return that dictionary. That's what the lambda function does. Then apply this lambda function to our dictionary 1, dictionary 2, and dictionary 3. So in this case, the result will be a list containing what? So dictionary 1 has A as its key, so it will return dictionary 1. Dictionary 2 doesn't have A as its key, so it will not return dictionary 2. And dictionary 3 also has A as its key, so the result will be a list containing dictionaries 1 and 3. Let's run it and verify. So it will be a list containing dictionaries 1, right, which is A1, and then dictionary 3, since it has A as its element, as its key. Similarly, if I copy that, and then if we check for B, the result will be a list containing dictionary 2 and dictionary 3, since they have B as a key. So if we run that, we get B7, which is dictionary 2 and dictionary 3. Similarly, we can check for a given value. For instance, we can check if any of the dictionaries have 7 as their value, and if that's so, we'll get that dictionary as a result. We can also do that. So in this example, we checked for keys. Now we can check for values. For instance, we can say filter lambda x, and then we can say 7 in this case, right? For instance, 7 in x dot, we can say items, and then pass our dictionary objects, dictionary 1, dictionary 2, dictionary 3. So in this case, our result will be a list containing dictionary 2, since it has 7 as its value. So let's run this, or let's make this values instead of items, since we are checking for values, right? So we have, as expected, dictionary 2 as a result, since it has 7 as a value. And we can also check for other elements. For instance, let's check for the value 1. So lambda x, 1 in x dot values. So if 1 is the value in a dictionary, return that dictionary. So the result will be a list containing dictionary 1, since it has 1 as its value, right? So let's run this. We get dictionary 1 as expected. Similarly, if we check for a value that doesn't exist, for instance, let's say 11 is not a value, right? Yes. So if we check for 11, we'll get an empty list, since 11 doesn't exist as a value in any of the dictionaries. So that's how we would use a filter function with lambda function. Just to summarize, we looked at the filter function in this lecture, and we mentioned that the filter function checks if elements in a given sequence fulfill a given function, and if they do, the result will be a list containing those elements. And we saw that in Python 3 we'll have to cast our filter function into a list so that we get a list as a result. Great. Thank you everyone, and see you at the next lecture.